What is going on, guys? I want to bring up this other verse in Philippians that really, changed my life. I'll be honest with you. But yesterday I did a video on Philippians, and it was about chapter 4, verse 13, I believe. And that's the famous verse of, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. But Philippians is such a good book that I have so much highlighted and everything in there, and I could talk for days about that book. But one day I might do something like that. But for right now, I just want to give you another verse that really changed my life from Philippians, and this is in chapter 2, verse 12 and 13, and this one, good stuff. But so it says, "Therefore, my dear friends, just as you have always obeyed, so now, not only in my presence, but even more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who is working in you, both to will and to work according to his good purpose." And now, I think there's so much to unpack there. You can unpack a lot from that. But my biggest thing is, one, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So work out your salvation, almost, work out your salvation with the knowledge that he's coming back one day, and, he will be judging the world, that kind of thing. But it also, because he uses the word work out your salvation, it lets us know that we're not to be idle in this thing, that there's a part that we play. And that's one big thing that I'm learning in general from the Bible, not just from Philippians, but that it's like if somebody gives you a gift, right? You kind of have the responsibility now to kind of keep it in its condition, right? So then, next year when they come back around, like, hey, you still using that thing? Oh yeah, I love that thing. It's so good. Look at it. And you present it to them and like, yeah, this is what it's doing. This is how it's helping my life. Not to say that the gift is taken away just because we don't take care of it, right? Because we don't gain our salvation by works, but it's a free gift through faith. But there is this work that we have to do to maintain and upkeep this thing. So that's just what I think about when I think of work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. But even further than that, he says, "For it is God who is working in you, both to will and to work according to," hear this, "his good purpose." And when I read that, that's when my brain was like, oh my gosh, and like everything opened up for me. Because most of my life and most of the Christian teaching that I've heard online and everywhere growing up was always about finding my purpose, right? Like, how is God gonna give me purpose, right? So then it's like you become a Christian and you're like, okay, what does God have for me now? And then you go down this road and you're like, and then you don't get to certain places, and then you start blaming God, like, well, I thought God had a plan for me. I thought he had this thing for me, right? But when you realize that it's not your purpose and it's not my purpose, but it's God's purpose, right? Because he can't be against himself. It's his purpose that we're aligning ourselves with and that he's bringing us into alignment with. It takes so much weight off, because guess what? If I have faith in Jesus and I love God and I love what he loves, right? And I'm walking through that, I'm walking that out, then how can I not be in alignment with God, right? Like, how can I not be in alignment with God at that point? And if I'm in alignment with God, why would I be out of his will? Why would I be out of his purpose, right? The only way I can be out of his purpose is if I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is. Because that means that's something that I'm trying to go off and do in my own strength, right? But in his strength, working inside of me to will and to work, not just to sit and be idle, but to will and to work, he is giving us a part in his purpose, right? Now, yes, individually, do we play a part? Like, we play a part. So yes, I understand what people try to mean when they say, like, oh, what's God's plan for my life, what's God's purpose in my life. But I think we need to realize, and that's a lot more freeing if we understand that it is His purpose, and we are just getting in alignment with it, right? We just need to figure out, we need to know Him more. Let's just say that. The more we know Him, the more we understand His purpose, and not the easier it is to walk out, but we can walk in alignment with Him. And that alignment, I think, will break off a lot of the depression and anxiety and just mental anguish and stress of our age. Because I know it's done that for me, right? Because as I've been in this space, as I've learned that it's His purpose and I've kind of realigned myself with it, it's not that I'm not trying to do things. I'm not trying to get a better job. I'm not trying to do, these things. But I know that in Him, I do have, there is a purpose and a plan that He's already set up for not just me, but for the world and everybody. Like, it's not this individualistic focused thing. I think He just has a purpose, right? And then He's gonna fulfill. And my job is to work out my salvation with fear and trembling while aligning myself with that purpose. And so it's broken off a lot of stress for me, because I know now that it's not this stressful thing to try to find a job, right? It's stressful because I'm like, man, I need some money, but it's not like this, oh my goodness, like, is this the right thing? It's like, if it aligns with what God has already said in His word, then you can believe and almost confidently say that it's His will, because why would He be against what He said, right? And so, again, that was super freeing for me, and I encourage you guys to, read the book of Philippians. I think it says a lot about that, and a lot about, what the actual goal of Christianity is, and yeah, using Paul as an example there, I think it's really good and it's really encouraging. So, thank you guys so much for listening. You guys have a great day. Peace.